feel lucky? If so, you're in the right place. Just north of the Las Vegas Strip, adjacent to mountains and Nellis Air Force Base. We are at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, about to set the field for Sunday's Kobalt 400. Welcome to Sprint Cup qualifying on FS1. It's been a beautiful day here in Nevada. Air temperature just touched 80 degrees. A very light breeze. The track temperature there at 85. Beautiful day to set the field in 3 rounds of knockout qualifying. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Las Vegas. Well, in practice earlier today, in a long practice session, 3 drivers broke the track record unofficially. That would be Jeff Gordon's track record. By the way, it's in jeopardy here this afternoon. Both the Penske cars, Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano, along with last week's pole sitter, hometown favorite Kurt Busch, were faster than the track record in practice. What are we going to see?
A lot of track records.
We're going to get a lot of practice.
The track is going to be extremely fast. We already saw some fast speeds in practice. We're going to see more of that. Track now is starting to cool down. Now these teams are really tuned up for qualifying specifically. We're going to see some fast lap times. I think we're going to see some drivers right on the edge of the grip level, though, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, we saw that in practice. So the bumps down in the middle of turn 1 and 2, where the infield tunnel goes underneath the racetrack. Do you drive over them or around them?
I think what we see is the cars that are fast, they go right through them. And they act like they're not even there. Now, there are people that hit those bumps, and they upset their car, and they run up the track. But they're really good cars. I noticed the 22 and a couple of 3.0s, they go through those bumps, and they just kind of undulate, and jump right through them, and they never slow down.
Agree?
I agree. It's funny because I was talking to some people down in the garage area earlier, and they said, hey, you keep talking about you're surprised they're driving right through the bumps. You know, you drove through them when you set the track record last year.
If you're going to go fast, Mike, you got to drive through them.
All right. Jeff Gordon's track record for Sprint Cup cars in Las Vegas is at risk. 3 rounds of qualifying. Coming right up on FS1.
My best memory of Las Vegas is playing craps with Benny Parsons.
My best memory of Las Vegas is qualifying for my first ever Cup race there.
My best memory of Las Vegas is we had a problem getting through Tech 1 year, and we still won the pole. So it was kind of our way of saying back at you.
My best memories of Las Vegas I can't talk about on TV.
Attaboy.
I think a lot of people would say that.
Long lines.
Now, what's interesting right now is not every driver is in their car. This is a lengthy session. So let's get some late word from pit lane. Matt Yoakum.
Brian Vickers back in the 14. Top 5 in practice, but for the first round, what's the biggest concern for you in the 14 team?
I think it's just kind of, I'm curious what the track did. You know, how much it changed through those 2 Xfinity practices, and now the sun's going down. This track seems to really be affected by the temperature and the sun as well. So we'll see how it is. So far, so good. You know, really proud of these guys. They did a great job with the car in practice, and hopefully we'll put this Mobil 1 Chevy on the pole.
Thanks, Brian.
Last week we talked to Trevor Bayne right before he rolled out to qualify, and you ended up qualifying 3rd, so we'll just keep this going. What do you think today?
I would be okay with that. If we could qualify 3rd today, I think that's a little bit better again than what we expect. Our Roush Fenway Fords have really had better speed this week than we had last year at Vegas, and so we're making progress. I just don't know how much yet for this qualifying session. We unloaded pretty good, but didn't find the drivability that I needed late in that last practice. Just got tight as the track rubbered up, so Matt Pisha made some adjustments to free it up, and hopefully all this hard work they put in is going to pay off.
You and I were talking about these cowl covers. Look at how creative. His sponsor, all the products laid out. It's so fun to see these.
Yeah, I'm hoping those are empty containers. We don't want any spark. Well, it might make it faster if some spark got down in the engine. But, yeah, these have really evolved. You need, like, a best cowl cover award here on pit road or something.
That's right. We should do something like that. Good luck, Trevor.
Yeah, and that's great. Look, Tony Stewart at the racetrack again, 2 weeks in a row. Great to see him.
He had a press conference this morning. Says he will check with the doctors next week in Charlotte. No timetable yet for his return to the driver's seat.
That young lady who's talking to is a chief engineer for Chevrolet. Been around sport for quite a while now.
Yeah,
Alba Cologne. Fastest 24 advanced from round 1. Positions 25 through 39 will be set in round 2. Positions 13 to 24 are set. Those drivers are knocked out from advancing to the final round, in which the fastest of 12 wins the Coors Light Pole. It is Stratosphere Hotel Casino Pole Day here in Las Vegas. Nice crowd on hand.
So, Jeff, what is Jimmy doing right now? Is he talking himself into going out here and trying to run this thing wide open? What's going through your head right now when you get ready to make this run?
Well, we heard Joey Logano talk about the intensity and the commitment that these drivers are going to have to lay down a lap here. This is a place where it's really, really fast, and you really have to hold your breath for this lap. So, yeah, you're talking yourself into holding your breath for about 27 seconds.
You can do it. You can do it.
So will this string continue? 6 different pole winners in the last 6 Sprint Cup races. There's only one Cup race a year here in Las Vegas. Let's ride with Jamie McMurray getting up to speed. What a shot.
It's such a cool shot. You see his hands on the steering wheel there, his head bouncing around. You hear that car accelerating in the 4th gear. Let's hear him hold it wide open down here in 3 and 4. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's coming to the green. That's what you want. You got to come to the green just like, I mean, it's as important as anything you do.
Now the moment of truth.
Not a real comforting feeling to hear it hit the racetrack like that, bounce around, especially that first time on the racetrack.
It went up the hill, just that little bit of touching of the skirts, it went up the hill a little bit in 1 and 2.
You heard him just crack out of the gas ever so slightly right there in 3 and 4 as well.
See what he does here, boys.
28:07 for McMurray. Kyle Larson, his teammate, a little quicker, 27:85. Track record is 27:73.
I'm still safe. I'm still safe.
Yeah. So already we're within 12/100ths.
Something we need to throw out as a factor here. The Xfinity cars just got off of the racetrack on a long practice session. Goodyear has brought a slightly different tire for the Cup cars and different compound as those Xfinity cars. That can definitely play a role in the grip level, especially for the first few cars.
Paul Menard shoots the gap. He'll be next out on track. Do you think the Ganassi car's strategy was go out early for maximum cool down time in case they have to make a second run?
Well, that's a pickup, though, on McMurray. That's about 2.5 tenths quicker than he practiced. So, yeah, maybe that's their strategy.
And I will tell you this, that this is one of those tracks and tire, the type of tire here as well as the surface here, they can run a second time out and actually pick up speed the second time out. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, actually.
Okay. Number 24 advance from round 1. Michael McDowell.
Man, the cars just look fast. They go through the turns unbelievably fast.
And Michael Annette.
I'll tell you, Paul Menard has run well at this racetrack. This has been a good track for him. He was fast in practice earlier. I expect this to be a pretty decent lap here. And it's coming down.
He's right in there.
Going to be really close to that lap of Larson's.
Second, he splits the 2 Ganassi cars, 27:90. With McDowell at 28:27, 4th. And Annette, 28:70, 5th.
Now we got 16 minutes left in this practice session, or in this qualifying session, this round 1. A lot of cars staying on pit road and not running, but here's a guy that we expect to be a real threat for the pole, Brad Keselowski.
But if you're only going to run 1 lap, you kind of want to see what the track's going to do before you go out and make that 1 lap.
Keselowski, fastest of the 3 drivers who broke the track record in practice.
He's way over in the green. He lost a little bit off turn 2, but he's coming back.
You can see the car yawed out a little bit through 1 and 2. You want a little bit of yaw. You don't want too much.
Oh, she's getting through 3 and 4.
He got through there
He's
really
coming
good.
on now, but it might be. This might be.
I'm done. Oh.
It's a new track record by 3/1000ths of a second.
Well, Jeff, There's another one off.
That's just one of many, I think, of the evening here in Las Vegas.
All right, Keselowski fastest. Josh Wise, 7th quick. Here's Matt.
The guy he bumped from first to second, the 42 of Kyle Larson, was telling his team that the car just got loose on entry down into 3 and 4, coming to the green, and then it was loose again down in 1 and 2. He lowered the track bar on his lap trying to improve it, and it didn't. Now, one thing I talked to the Goodyear engineers about, for the first 6 or 7 laps with this tire, as long as your balance is okay, you really don't see any drop-off in time.
Jeff, you know how much that Keselowski beat your time? You know how much he beat you by?
How much?
9 inches.
9 inches. You got to calculate it for the amount of time.
I got my man over here.
How many hundredths of a second is that?
He calculated that right out.
Here's
3/1000ths of a second.
Oh, okay. Even less. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., this team, they've really stepped up qualifying. We saw it last week at Atlanta. They were running good in practice today. I'm really anxious to see what kind of lap he puts down here.
Ricky's a talented driver. I mean, he can drive. He's a good wheel man. Good to see him get these cars running a little bit better.
Second for Stenhouse, 27.82. There's Ryan Newman. 5th, 27.94. 3rd quickest of the Chevrolets. And Casey Kane jumps up there to second, 27.78.
Yeah, good for Casey. They needed a run like that. It's a great run.
Danica.
Danica 5th, 27.87.
Good run.
Now, one of the things about this racetrack that it comes in really good at this track, especially qualifying. 1 and 2 is so much different than 3 and 4 in the banking and the radius of the corner. As we see Austin Dillon coming to the line.
He was really happy with his car in testing yesterday. Had pretty good laps earlier today, but they're not looking that sporty right now.
No, 10th out of 12 for Dillon.
See
Clint Boyer, 11th, 28.67.
You got Vickers in the green there.
Here comes the guy to the line that you might want to keep an eye on. Here comes Kevin Harvick down here to get ready to cross the line. And let's see what he's got.
9th for Harvick, 28.15.
As good as I thought he was going to be.
Here's Brian Vickers. In for Tony Stewart again this week. Top of the chart, 27.73 with a 2. Keselowski was 73 with a 5.
It's a new
track.
It's another
new track record.
But what I was going to talk about is the track bar here can really be adjusted from 1 and 2 to 3 and 4. So if you're a little bit free in 1 and 2, you can drop that track bar down the back straightaway, tighten the car up for 3 and 4, or vice versa. It's really a good tool here. It's not as good a tool as some of the other tracks.
Well, we're in the
few sparks breaks, not bad, just a few.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. We're in the shade now, and the track temperature has dropped more than 20 degrees since Xfinity practice earlier.
Boy, that's feathering the throttle 2, 3, and 4. Really got through there pretty good.
And that to me is just a real sign of the difference as he goes to 8th on the board.
27.91.
A big difference from last year's downforce package versus this year. I know that the track is still very fast. I think they're getting a lot of that speed down the straightaway with less drag.
Yeah.
But they're lifting a lot more down there in 3 and 4 than last year.
Chris Buescher 10th, Brian Scott 13th.
Yeah, well, when you take downforce off the car, Jeff, you're going to go fast down the straightaway. The question is, how fast can you go through the corners? Right now, with the grip level the way it is, pretty fast.
Watch Carl.
This is something we haven't seen yet. It's the Gibbs cars out there. Let's see what.
You're getting ready to see one right now.
Oh boy, 27.67.
And it just keeps coming down faster and faster.
Eric Almirola 4th, 27.77.
Guys, I think what we're seeing here is exactly why Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus wanted to wait. They wanted to see what this track had in it. And I think it's now we're going to start seeing that speed because we're getting a little bit of this Sprint Cup Series rubber down on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's 195 miles an hour right there by Edwards. And I think there's speed in this track yet. I still think there's a 10th or 2 out there.
Denny Hamlin 4th with a 27.74. There's Matt Kenseth. .21 of 39 drivers have been on the clock so far. A bunch of them out there right now. Kenseth now 4th, 27.73. Greg Biffle 15th, 27.99. Here comes Ryan Blaney. Blaney 8th, 27.80.
Nice run for him. He put on a spectacular show at this race last year in the Xfinity Series.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was going to have a heck of a wreck, too.
Joey Logano, second fastest in practice. Hang on.
You see that car go through the bumps here? You're so committed. You've got so much wheel in it. You can see the car kind of rocking from the left rear to the right front. Shows you how soft that left rear spring is in the car.
All right, Josh Wise is 24th. He is on the bubble.
Oh, Logano's. Here he comes. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he really got off turn 4 well.
Top of the chart, 27.64.
Here comes that 41 car down. He's
last.
looking good. He's in the green, and he's in the green by a large amount.
Wow, what a lap.
27.49.
That is definitely a new track record. That's blistered right there, boys.
Boyer to the bubble. He is knocked out by A.J. Allmendinger, 13th fastest.
So now here's where it's going to get really interesting. Now he showed what the grip level on the track and what it is out there right now. How much longer do you wait? And what's going to happen to those that went out earlier? And are they going to have to go out a second time?
Well, they'll just look and see where they're going to fall in line here. And if they feel like they're comfortably going to make it to the next round, they won't. But if you're down there on that bubble, you will. But, Jeff, that's 196.3 miles an hour around this joint.
That is incredible.
Austin Dillon on the bubble right now. Nope, Martin Truex, 15th, knocks him out. Brian Scott to the bubble. Kyle Busch, 21st, 28.02. Trevor Bayne now 21st, 28.01. So Scott is out, and Harvick is in danger of getting bounced. Regan Smith, 27th.
Really surprising with Kyle Busch. I mean, we've got Edwards in 3rd. We've got Kenseth in 6th, Hamlin in 7th, and he struggled all day long making qualifying runs, and he struggles again.
Here's Jeffrey Earnhardt. Note the yellow line. That is the cutoff point for moving on to round 2.
Some fast cars back there, too. Harvick, Busch. And Dale Jr.'s not too far up there at 17, so they got to keep their eye on who's going out and who's doing what here.
David Reagan, time to beat is 28.15. Jeffrey Earnhardt, 31st. Will not bump Harvick.
And the 48 has still not been out yet.
David Reagan did. He bumped Kevin Harvick out of the top 24, 28.14. So Reagan is now on the bubble.
There goes the 48. He's under the clock.
Chase Elliott also out there.
Listen to that wiggle?
Yeah, but did you hear
wiggle?
He was hardly, I mean, he let off of it right before he got to the bump, but he was in it through the bumps.
Oh, I mean, these bumps play a huge role in your lap.
Yeah, you'd expect this ride to be a little bumpy, you know.
And you can hear in 3 and 4 the difference. He barely touched and then right back hard into the throttle. But boy, that wasn't the case in 1 and 2.
Cole Witt 30th. That will not transfer. 3rd for Jimmy Johnson, 27.66. Chase Elliott 25th at a 28.12. And now Jamie McMurray is on the hot seat.
Yeah, the 24 is going to have to go again.
Yeah, we saw him do that last week. Remember, he didn't make it in on his first try, and I think he went back out and picked it up a little bit.
3 drivers left to take time for the first time. One of those is Landon Castle. And he did it, 22nd.
Wow.
At a 28.01. That knocks out Jamie McMurray. Kyle Busch on the hot seat. Matt DiBenedetto, 32nd, not quick enough. Kurt Busch fastest. Here's Casey Mears. Last driver to post a time.
Mears could very well knock Kyle Busch out here. Kyle's sitting on the bubble, 24th.
Yeah, this is going to make the last 5 or 6 minutes very interesting in this session.
So there is the difference. 24th.
Sun goes down, you start seeing those sparks fly off of those skirts as they go around here.
Nice run for Casey Mears. Looks like he's going to make the transfer.
By a good bit.
13th matches his car number. Kyle Busch is out. Trevor Bayne is on the bubble. Kurt Busch fastest so far.
He's going back out.
4 minutes, 10 seconds to go in round 1 of knockout qualifying. Michael McDowell went back up, climbed up the board to 27th. Right now, Austin Dillon on track. Kevin Harvick to come. You saw them putting the window net up for Kyle Busch, but his car still sits in its stall on pit road.
Mike, you may not remember this, but I think it was 2011. Tony Stewart qualified at 200 miles an hour at Texas. 11-14. In the fall race at Texas, he went 200 miles an hour. So Texas, Atlanta.
Big jump for Dylan. He is 12th. 27.80.
Not going to pick it up.
Jamie.
Kyle Busch on the outside looking in after his first run. He said this car is out of control, no rear grip. It feels like a pogo stick. The two-time pole sitter giving it another run here to try to make it into the second round.
Jamie McMurray trying to bump Landon Castle out of the top 24. Trevor Bayne has been bumped.
Oh, we lost the front end. He drove down in there. He really was committed. He carried a lot of speed. Wow, he may have got a little bit of a wall there.
Got the sand a little bit.
Gave it all he had in his time, 1/100th.
He hit the wall pretty good off 4.
Brian Scott, Kyle Busch going back out. Here's Harvick.
Yeah, we just heard a little bit of his radio, and you can just see how much movement's going on in that car as he's working the steering wheel back and forth. And here's Jamie McMurray coming off of turn 4. Whoa, oh, he got it good.
Oh, yeah. You saw Harvick's car. Most of his problem was in the rear. As you saw, the rear of the car was just hopping up and down as it went across the bumps.
Yeah, these bumps really throw people off. You heard about Kyle Busch and the lack of grip. If you have a lack of grip and you're having to deal with bumps, you're really going to have a tough time in this qualifying session.
So 2:15 to go. Can Landon Castle hold on to 24th spot?
Well, here's Kyle back out, and he's looking a little bit better right now.
If he can get through 3
Run
and
up
4.
that high.
Guys, here's what I'm seeing. It's like this track has cooled down. And contrary to today, everybody's fighting loose now. Today it was all about pushing, and they couldn't turn the front end.
Kyle Busch from 26th to 21st at a 27.94. Landon Castle will have to roll because he's now knocked out, and Greg Biffle is on the bubble.
That old bubble is a terrible place to be.
Clint Boyer. Minute and a half to go in this session. You must start your timed lap before the clock runs out for it to count.
And I think Larry brings up a really good point. These track conditions change so quick when that sun starts to go down. Really hard for these teams to keep up with the balance of the car.
Boyer gains 2 spots to 35th. Here's Trevor Bayne trying to bump back in from 26th place. He needs to beat his teammate Greg Biffle. Needs to pick up 3/100ths to do it. Not enough.
Didn't do it.
How about Chase Elliott?
Looking good.
Chase right now is 29th.
He's looking pretty good here. He's picking up. Lost a little bit. Gaining back. It's going to be fine.
Chase is in. He's 17th. Biffle is out. Chris Buescher, the rookie, goes onto the hot seat.
I just wonder if getting out of those Xfinity cars and then coming over here and jumping into these cars, that first time back out on the track, having to run around here wide open, if that was just a bit of a challenge for some of these guys.
Oh, I think so. And just the commitment you have to make that lap to get into that 27-second bracket, it gets your attention.
Newman is in. 27.91. 21st.
Biffle out.
Harvick going at it again.
And time has expired, so cars that are on the track may finish their lap.
And he's got a shot at it right here. He had a much cleaner 1 and 2.
Got to get through here. Got to get through here.
He'd been complaining mainly about 1 and 2. Yeah, I think he did a really nice job here getting in.
Yeah, he's going to be fine.
Chris Buescher did not make it to the flag in time. Harvick did it. 27.92. Chris Buescher is out, and Greg Biffle misses it by that much.
Kyle Busch, 24th. Wow.
Woohoo! That's what I love about this racetrack and these tires and the conditions here as the sun goes down. You just never know what kind of wild, crazy things are going to happen.
And that's a tough break for rookie Chris Buescher because he missed making it to the line to start his lap by no more than 3 seconds. So he'll start 25th on Sunday. 24 drivers advance. Well, that was an exciting first of 3 rounds of knockout qualifying in Las Vegas. It sets positions 25 to 39. And on this list, at least the first 7 drivers were in the top 24 at one point or another during that session.
It was. That bubble was hot.
Yeah, we saw David Reagan put up a good lap, and I never expected him to be in 31st. No.
So that's how those drivers will start. 24, move on. Matt.
Mike, 6th at Daytona, 2nd last week in Atlanta, and you gave it 2 runs here during this first round, Jimmy Mack. Tight both times.
Yeah, I mean, the front doesn't turn very good, but the back still doesn't feel very stable. We freed it up a bunch for our second run and still just didn't turn good enough. We just kind of been the 30th place car all day yesterday and all day today. And I think the most frustrating part is that we just kind of run the same lap time every time out. And all day in race trim yesterday, we kind of ran 29 flat, and then all morning we ran 28 30s, and then I ran 2 28 flats right here. I just can't. I don't know if I'm not telling them the right information, or if I just don't have the right feel, but we just can't seem to make adjustments that are making the car any quicker right now.
29th fastest, Jimmy McMurray in the 1. Jamie?
Eric Almirola 9th right now, and earlier today you guys just said you were off, you weren't real happy with it. Where'd you make the biggest improvement?
Well, I felt like we've had speed since we've been here yesterday, and I kept telling Trent that if we get the balance right, we'll be fine. And we just kept bouncing around between tight and loose earlier today, and he made some good adjustments for qualifying, and the balance was close. Still a little bit off, so I think we can be a little bit better than that. I don't think I have anything for that 49 that Kurt Busch ran, but I think we can run a mid-60. Hopefully, if we make the right adjustments here. So proud of everybody at Richard Petty Motorsports. They brought a really fast Smithfield Ford Fusion for us.
Really nice improvement for these guys. We'll see them in the second round, Mike.
Well, let's have a look then at the 24 drivers who will advance. Now, Brad Keselowski, who is 6th fastest, has a left rear tire going flat. NASCAR has approved for them to change that tire. Austin Dillon has run 3 laps. Everybody above him on the chart, just 1. And some other drivers who made multiple runs to get into the top 24. Especially Harvick.
Kevin Harvick in that 4 car, he ran 5 laps.
All right, we'll take these 24 and we'll slice it in half in round 2 of knockout qualifying. Here are the cars that broke the track record, the prior track record in qualifying. Let's add to that list Matt Kenseth, who was 1/1000th of a second better than Jeff Gordon's prior record.
Yeah, the left rear that they have to change out on Brad Keselowski's 2 car, that will have to be a scuffed tire. But if there's a place you can get by with that, I would say it's here. But the real challenge is going to be having it the same temperature as the other 3. I think they'll kind of wait late in this round to really go out there, but I'm already seeing them roll down pit road.
Carl Edwards had to make a tire change last week in qualifying and ended up 7th.
And Larry, I wonder, are they going to go out and get some heat in that tire and give it a cycle and know that there's a good chance they might have to go out a second time. And these are tires we've seen in the past here at Las Vegas. And I know this tire is slightly different than what we've seen in the past, but still similar characteristics where you can go out multiple times, just like we saw Kevin Harvick went out 3 times.
I think that tire will be good to go when he comes to the green. He takes that baby off the pit road up in 1 and 2 down the back, she'll be good to go.
Now this round is only 10 minutes long, and 12 drivers will advance to the final round and run for the pole.
And those conditions just keep getting cooler and better, and we're going to probably see these times fall even fall even more. Of course, I don't know how you can go much faster than what Kurt Busch went on that last round.
That's amazing. I felt like they get down in the 40s, and I'm not sure they're done yet.
I thought you said 30s.
I said a 40 would be a good number, but I'll take a 30.
It's a line from a Mel Brooks movie, Spaceballs, and I've heard Kurt Busch use it. He calls it ludicrous speed.
Oh, yeah.
We're moving towards ludicrous speed right here.
Hamlin 27.74, Larson 27.85. Stenhouse right between them with a 79. And here's Matt Kenseth 27.67.
Yeah, baby.
A little bit faster than he ran in the first round.
Well, you know what you got now. You know how much grip that car's got in it. Kind of know the line you want to run. Now you just refine that just a little wee bit. Maybe just a little adjustment on a tire.
I almost think Keselowski looked better that time than he did the first time through there.
The clock agrees.
It likes that fresh left rear on there.
Well,
It looks like he's giving up a little bit of speed getting in the corner, probably backing off a little bit, and then he's really getting off the corner strong.
He is coming.
27.61 for Keselowski. He's fastest over Kenseth and Hamlin.
Back up to 195. It's 2 cars that run 195 already.
Carl Edwards up to the wall.
Yeah, blew a left rear tire into the corner or something.
Wow.
10-4. I haven't seen it yet.
That's 2 weeks in a row in qualifying. Trouble in the left rear. If that's the case.
I'm not so sure. It looks up.
It looks like the right rear is soft. Left rear looks okay. I believe it might be the right rear that's soft on that car.
Kurt Busch, 4th at a 76. Casey Kane
going to come out as soon as you finish your lap.
Finishes his lap 27.72. And they've red flagged this session. Clock stops at 6 minutes 56 seconds to go.
Now, does that mean that Brian Vickers is going to be able to complete this lap and be on the clock?
We are checking.
That would. I don't know why they wouldn't let him finish his lap. That would seem he was in there. He was in the lap, and he's coming 3 and 4.
It did not pop up on the screen.
It didn't show on the monitor.
I'm guessing that it did not count.
Bad. That's bad. That's unfortunate for him because I think it was a pretty decent lap.
Carl Edwards getting down into, boy, you can just see how it just snapped. It really jumped out on him. He did an excellent job not losing it more than he did. I'm with you, DW. I'd like to see that right rear tire.
Yeah, it's soft. I saw him when he was rolling down the back there.
Man, I tried not to hurt it, Dave. That's the best I could do. Let me tell you, they're lucky we broke, so it's going to be a fast one.
Now, Brian Vickers' lap, we're told, did not count. NASCAR had already issued the red flag, and that's not a situation where you get to finish the lap you're on.
There you go. You're right, DW. That right rear tire was down.
Let the 5 finish his lap and then cut our fucking lap out of the field.
How could they do that? They even said let the 5 finish, and they know we're out there. Yeah, this is a real fair sport.
And we're not able to answer that question. We were told from the tower that once Casey Kane finished his lap, the caution would wave to check for debris possibility from the 19 of Carl Edwards. Jamie.
And Brian Vickers still talking on the radio. Guys, can you plead? Can you get that lap back? That was a quick time, so obviously very frustrated inside the 14.
It was, Jamie. I was watching the car. It was awesome through 3 and 4, and it looked like a great lap.
Yeah, it only makes sense to me that whatever cars were on the track at the time, that they would have said, okay, as soon as all those cars complete their laps, then we'll throw the red. And for some reason, Brian Vickers got by them.
All right. If we find out why, folks, we'll let you know. Carl Edwards up and over the bumps and up and into the wall has put us under. Red flag at Las Vegas. And Tony Stewart talking with NASCAR officials about why his car, with Brian Vickers in it, entering turn 3 when the flag came out, Casey Kane's lap counted and his did not. Jamie?
And Brian Vickers on the radio sitting inside his car said, have we heard anything from NASCAR? And Tony just radioed to him and said, they said we can go back and talk with them in the trailer afterwards. It's no use in trying to fight him now. Let's pick our battles, cool down the car, and we'll go out with 2 minutes to go.
When that official right there came over and explained it to me, I'd say, yes, sir.
and I
think I understand now.
I did see a smile on Tony's face when he was talking to him.
You notice he turned around and looked the other way, too.
Well, it's unfortunate for Brian Vickers and this team, but they have good speed in that car. I think that they can get back out there and get a good lap in.
And even more unfortunate is what's happened to Carl Edwards here, Matt.
And Mike, after Carl Edwards fenced the 19, he thought that maybe something broke in the left rear, but after further investigation, was the right rear slowly going down?
I think the right rear was going down, and man, it felt good going to the corner, and there was a big bang, and I think that was just a frame height being low, hitting the ground, and I thought it was the left rear, but man, it hit hard, bounced up the racetrack, and that was it. But I'm still not convinced that something didn't break in the left rear. You see that left rear looked like almost moving around a little bit. We'd heard that Brad Keselowski had something in his tire. Our right rear is flat when we came in. It doesn't have anything on the sidewall. But
These guys are good at battling back from adversity. We got another car coming out of the truck, and we'll just get it ready tomorrow and go race it.
Second straight day, a JGR team goes to a backup.
Yeah, 11 yesterday with Hamlin in testing, and then the 19 today with Carl Edwards. That's 2 down for those guys.
Although Hamlin going to a second car, that will not count as a backup car for qualifying and race lineup purposes.
Yeah.
So Carl Edwards will start 24th. As A.J. Allmendinger, Joey Logano out there. The NASCAR decision, again, we have no further word. It seems illogical that Casey Kane was allowed to complete his lap before that caution came out, but Brian Vickers was not.
And that was my question, is where was the 14 on the track when they said we're going to let the 5 complete his lap? Because you would think the logical thing would be, well, actually, we're going to also let the 14 finish his lap.
Well, the lights came on as he went into turn 3, because I thought to myself, what a distraction that would be for me if I was qualifying, but it didn't slow him down. He came onto the line, then they said they didn't disallow the time.
Great lap for Allmendinger, 3rd fastest. Logano 2nd quick at a 6:27.62.
That's a heck of a lap by A.J. Allmendinger right there, guys.
4th fastest now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 10th. 27.91. Eric Almirola 5th. 27.63.
And Eric's been solid all day. It's a great lap for them.
Hey, guys, I'm not convinced Kurt Busch, that was fastest in that first round, they better be getting that 41 car to run again, because right now at 8th, with that many cars left to go, I'm not sure he's going to crack the top 12.
And, you know, Larry, what I was wondering on Kurt was he had such a great lap the first run. I'm wondering, did he try to push it just a little bit further and go even a little bit faster, and he went over the edge?
Because most other drivers in this second round, they've run much quicker than they did in round 1.
Like I said, it's going to be hard to go much faster than he did in round 1. I mean, he is a 10th and a half faster than anybody.
One more car, and then bumping will begin to get to the final round. Ryan Blaney.
Those Busch boys, they like drama.
Blaney is 81. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the bubble right away. Martin Truex, 3rd. Earnhardt's out. Kyle Larson to the hot seat. Danica Patrick is 13th. And Larson holds on to the bubble. There's the yellow line showing 12th place on the right of your screen. That's the final transfer spot. We'll switch our tracker to show you the difference between 12th place and the driver currently on track, which is Austin Dillon, among others.
You could see he really drove into turn 1 hard and tried to carry a lot of speed in there, and he went green for a split second, but then as he got to the center, lost that momentum and speed.
That left splitter is down on the ground too. That's not necessarily hurting anything, but shooting a lot of sparks up there. But that 1 and 2 might have gotten him. He's fighting back off 4. Here he comes.
He's in for now, 9th.
And what I love about that, did he recognize he overdrove turn 1 and backed up the entry into turn 3 and then really carried speed up off the corner?
And Kyle Busch, slowest of those who've run so far, 28 flat, 16th.
Yeah, he had to really work hard just to get to this round, and the car's just not there for him. Wow, you hear that?
That was before he ever even got into the bumps. You could hear it bottoming out, but still carrying a lot of speed here.
Ricky Stenhouse on the bubble now.
He's running a little bit higher line there, not going all the way down to the white line. Certainly temporarily going to be into this top 12.
9th for Harvick with a 73.
And that wasn't a smooth run either. That was pretty choppy.
Stenhouse is out. Kurt Busch on the bubble, and he just holds off Paul Menard by 2 1/100ths. So Kurt Busch back on track. He's just taken the green. He's on the bump spot, 12th. With 2.5 minutes to go.
That looked good through there that time, Jeff. The car looked at it across the bump without upsetting it.
Yeah, I still believe something on that first run. I think he learned from that first run. And again, I don't know if he just tried a little bit too hard and the grip just wasn't there, but this is a really beautiful lap.
There you go.
And he jumps up to 3rd, and that moves Ryan Blaney to the bubble. 2 Fords and a Chevy in the top 3.
Top 5, a 61, a 62, a 64, and a 66, and a 67.
Casey Mears not quick enough, 18th. Jimmy Johnson, 10th. And that knocks out Blaney and puts Harvick on the hot seat.
Curious to see if we're going to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. go back out. He didn't put a very good lap up that first time. I would think he'll get back out there.
4 drivers yet to lock in a time. Here is Chase Elliott.
He can just get through 3 and 4. He's going to get himself into round 3. See him get down to that white line. Just hook that white line. It's close. Oh, it's going to be so close.
It's going to be right on. Yikes.
Just lost a little bit off of turn 4.
And just missed it by one less than 100th of a second. Chase Elliott 13th.
Got to leave pit road with 36 seconds to go to make it back around.
Austin Dillon on the bubble. Ryan Newman on the clock is 20th. Not fast enough. Brian Vickers going back out. So is Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse. Here's Stenhouse currently 16th, trying to bump back in and knock out Austin Dillon.
We talk about Brian Vickers as we see Stenhouse cross the line.
Not enough.
Nope, 16th.
When we talk about Brian Vickers, they had to wait until the absolute last second to come off pit road because they want those tires to cool down to be able to secure themselves into this round.
Kyle Larson, not enough, and Brian Vickers, our GPS telemetry said he probably would have made it had his time counted on that first run, but he is 19th.
Wow, they're really going to be disappointed with that.
Sir, yeah.
Has to beat a 27.733. That's Austin Dillon's time.
I thought that looked good right there for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He really got back in the throttle hard right in the middle of the corner.
Here he comes. Had to lay out a little bit too long, and he's pushing up the hill a little bit here, too.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like he lost the front end a little bit through the middle 3 and 4.
Yep.
28 flat for Earnhardt. He will not bump in. Blaney and Patrick are on the track as the session comes to a close. They will finish their laps and will be done. Keselowski fastest and Logano. And they're trying to bump Austin Dillon off of the 12th spot. Here's Patrick. 28.04. That won't do it. And Blaney, 27.94. A little 2/10 slower than his first run.
No, but he'll be starting right next to rookie candidate Chase Elliott. They'll be side by side, put on a good show for us on Sunday. Yeah.
Some fast times over across the street, across the Las Vegas Strip at Nellis Air Force Base. And some fast times here on the Speedway. Here's how they lock in positions 13 through 24. Carl Edwards did not complete his run. Chase Elliott locks in to 13th. Let's hear from him.
And he's one of the guys doing double duty this weekend. What's it like for you going from the Xfinity car to jumping in this car? You've never raced one of these here.
Yeah, it's been busy today. Been fun. Felt like I made some gains on our Napa Chevrolet, and then we started off not where we wanted to on our Tax Slayer Chevy, and I thought we got it better in the second practice. So I hated we missed it by 1 again. Last week we missed it by 1, but we were in the wrong cutoff bracket. So at least we missed the top 12 by 1 this week, and not the top 24. So it's an improvement, not perfect, but we're excited about being better than last week. So we'll take it and try to get better for the race.
Nice effort for your first time here. Chase will start 13th.
Missed it by 7 1/1000ths of a second. So 3 Fords, 6 Chevrolets, and 3 Toyotas will move on to the final round. So the big news out of round 2 was Tony Stewart pleading the case for his driver, Brian Vickers, to have been allowed to complete his lap. Didn't happen. Didn't move on. And then there were 12 drivers to run for the pole. Penske cars very strong in round 2. Keselowski and Logano fastest. Kurt Busch's Chevrolet, the Toyotas of Truex and Kenseth. Fast 5. They're the fastest cars in each round.
Let me tell you, that 27.49 by Kurt Busch in that first round, 196 miles an hour.
Unreal, isn't it? That's
ludicrous speed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, that's all you can say.
Now, I would guess that everybody's going to pick up even a little bit more. I'm not talking about Kurt Busch. Now, that first round speed, that was just insane. But everybody seemed to pick up a little bit in round 2, and now the track is completely, out of the sun, and the track temps should be coming down, and it should get faster.
I think it's a trade-off. I think what you lose in tires, you gain in grip because the track's cooled down. It's going to be about a trade-off.
Track's open. Green flag. Casey Kane, Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth first out. Then Joey Logano. So 4 drivers have rolled right at the start of the session.
Ever since that last qualifying run that Casey Kane did in practice today, he's been having a pretty solid day, making it here to round 3. Looking like that Farmer Chevrolet's got some good speed. There's another guy that has good speed, and Denny Hamlin.
I asked Denny if he was all right after the little accident yesterday, and he said, yeah, just my feelings were hurt.
And his best car for the weekend was hurt.
Love watching those cars go through the bumps at such fast speeds here at Las Vegas. A lot of movement, a lot of squish in the tire. Drivers really working the steering wheel.
Track has cooled down in the shade now. After sundown, track temp has dropped another 5 degrees.
You can see Casey Kane didn't even have to come all the way out to the wall there.
27.65.
Pretty fast.
Nice lap.
Hamlin a 68.
Jeff, these cars are traveling at over 200 miles an hour off into these turns.
Matt Kenseth looking for the pole. 58. Kenseth is fastest.
He's on it.
Eric Almirola coming to the green.
Seen some really nice speed out of Eric so far today. Made it to round 3. Great accomplishment. And look at that. He's going green there off of turn 2.
He's making bacon today.
He's not done yet. He's not done.
This thing's looking pretty racy.
Brian Scott, good run last week in qualifying. Almirola this week. Richard Petty Motorsports on the move.
Either way, this is going to be a great lap.
Second for Almirola.
Right there at a 65, 27.65.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really proud of that effort today.
He beat Kane 6.5 with the 2. That's a 6.5 with 1.
So it's Toyota, Ford, Chevy as Joey Logano goes on the clock.
You know what I love though about, look at Matt Kenseth. You know, he's in there. But when it's time to go get the money, to run the best lap, who runs the best lap?
Joey Logano's going to have to run a perfect 3 and 4 here. Not quite enough.
Going the wrong way.
I think he's not going to make it.
He's coming close. He's getting close.
He did it. He made it.
By 1/100th. 27.57 for Logano. He is fastest. Here comes Martin Truex.
We'll see. They'll give up a little bit of speed getting in, and then if they really get it through the center, they'll gain that speed back. But not in Martin Truex Jr.'s case.
6th, 27.69.
That Logano got off a turn 4 now. I mean, he got off.
I was talking to Joey, and he was second to me for the pole last year, and he said it was all down in 3 and 4. You had a good 3 and 4, and I got a little bit loose. I think he might make up for that this weekend.
Oh, he's looking pretty good.
Except for now, he's got his teammate he's going to have to deal with.
Allmendinger 7th. He got down against the apron in 3 and 4. Brad Keselowski and Kurt Busch.
Brad's got a little in the bank here, boys, and he's growing.
Yeah, that's looking really, really good.
Coming. Lost a little bit. He lost it off of 4. That's where Joey got it.
What about
Third
Kurt Busch?
for Keselowski, 27.59.
Here's Kurt. He's got it. Come on.
Oh, that's looking really good right here.
Hometown boy. Did it. 27.50.
Almost what he ran in the first round.
Yep.
Within 100. And now Kevin Harvick. Kurt Busch's teammate is 5th. 27.62.
It's a good job of that 4 bunch.
It's a really good bounce back for what happened in round 1.
It is.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, he really had to get out. You could hear bottoming out. His car just wasn't quite there underneath him.
He had the want-tos, but he just couldn't push it down.
10th for Johnson. And then there was one.
The old man.
Tony Gibson. Austin Dillon waiting until the final seconds of this session.
It's not a bad lap so far.
Got that left front sparking again.
Sparky, baby.
Could be that if he holds right there, that's the front row.
Come on, dig.
All right, time expires.
It's holding pretty nice.
Come on, dig up off that corner.
Lost a little bit off of turn.
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah, a little bit.
5th,
Top
27.60.
Still a great job.
Great job.
Kurt Busch has won his 2nd pole in a row. The 21st of his career. And his 2nd at his home track in 15 starts. He won the pole here back in 2000.
Mike, 196.3 for the pole.
Dollar says he says ludicrous speed somewhere in this interview.
Well, he was ludicrous speed. Round 1, round 3, when it really counted.
I think it was warps. I think it was warp speed today.
Yeah, good job.
It's great to see these guys getting along and really
great?
connecting the way they are.
Hey, thank Johnny for that. He's the one that looked at it on film. So. That's what worked.
All right, here's Jamie with the driver who came oh so close.
A lot of people in Las Vegas celebrating about Kurt Busch getting that pole, but for the 3rd straight race here, Joey Logano on the front row. Joey, you have to tell me about this turnaround for you and Brad from last week. How different was it for you this time?
It's the first thing my crew chief, Todd Gordon, said to me. He said, better than last week. So that's a good point. You know, it just goes to show, hard work and figuring out this package, having that test day yesterday and really able to learn some things, I think helps us to kind of get a grasp on what we need to do with our Pennzoil 4. Just, man, it's so fun qualifying here. It's how bad do you want it? You know, you push so much harder than your brain tells you you should go, and it makes it a lot of fun. It's pretty hairy. I thought I had a pretty good lap. I just got a little bit tight down on 1 and 2 and lost the nose for that split second, but I had a really good 3 and 4. Just unfortunately, just not quite good enough to beat the 41 car, but also a good starting spot for us, and we'll work from there.
For all the fans watching and hearing so much about this new rules package, what are we going to see on Sunday? What do you expect based on what you saw in testing?
I think it's going to be great. I think what we saw last week was awesome on the way cars can catch each other and pass. And this track here is one of the toughest tracks to pass cars at because it's so fast and the corners are so quick. And, yesterday I was able to get behind cars and actually pass them. In years past, you get stuck about 3 car lengths behind or 4 car lengths behind. You can't even get to the cars. So to actually be able to get to them and pass cars yesterday made me feel really good about how the race is going to be Sunday. I think it's going to be very entertaining. And there is more tire fall off than what we're used to here. So I think that's another great thing as well.
I think you just sold it. Well done, Joey Logano. Let's go over to Matt, who's with the pole sitter.
No motivation needed for Kurt Busch when you come to Las Vegas. So was that fast lap a ludicrous speed lap?
It was insanely fast. It's amazing all the detail that goes into qualifying with finding that perfect lap 3 times out there. And my second outing, we were way tight, and I didn't know where it came from, and Gibson and crew went to town. They just adjusted on it. We gambled, and we made that last session, which was great, and so that was icing on the cake to be able to go out into the 3rd round. So I was 1st or 12th. It didn't matter. So thanks to Haas Automation, Monster Energy, 2 poles in a row. This is great. I mean, this is how you work through an off season and show up to qualify. Now we just need to find that speed on the long run, but really proud of everybody at SHR. Thank you.
Now, not to give away what you found, but did it help that you guys went and looked at the video?
Team communication all the way around. They can hear it in my voice on times when I'm confused by something, and at this time now they're like, okay, this is where you need to try to do something different. And it's just teamwork. That's what it is. You got to have offense, defense, special teams, and I got a great group.
2nd straight pole this year, 2nd pole here at his home track.
I like that offense, defense, and special teams.
Analogy.
Liked it.
And he was kind of hiding a little bit about what he went and saw in the video.
You noticed that.
What video? What video are you talking about?
Kurt Busch, 2 poles in a row. As night descends on Las Vegas, Kurt Busch is your pole winner. Stuart Haas Racing has 2 cars in the top 12 and might have had 3, but for NASCAR's timing of the caution flag for the Carl Edwards incident. Here is Jamie Little with Tony Stewart.
Well, it's great to see Tony Stewart back at the racetrack, headset on, and he's in it. Interesting qualifying for you guys. On one hand, you got one car on the pole. On the other hand, you guys got robbed with Brian Vickers. What was your take on all that?
Well, I'm going to go talk to the NASCAR officials in a minute and find out. I mean, we heard them tell the 5 car to go ahead and finish his lap, and then by the time they throw the caution, we're already past where the 19 had hit the wall and already into turn 3, and they said it was a safety issue. So I guess us running into turn 3 wide open weren't worried about our safety. They were worried about everybody else behind us, I guess. So we'll find out. I mean, I know they'll have a reason for it, but we're just going to put our 2 cents in and a different side of it for them to look at, so hopefully we won't have to go through that scenario in the future.
And the good news, the 14 showed a lot of speed in practice today. He'll qualify 19th on Sunday. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Jamie. Tony had a press conference earlier today. He sees the doctors for his post-surgery visit next week. No word on when he'll be back in the race car. We hope it's soon. But there's one of his drivers, Kurt Busch, on the pole with Joey Logano outside. Those two and Brad Keselowski broke the track record in practice. At least seven drivers did during qualifying. As you said, both rookies on row 7. 2 of the 4 rookies, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney. Kyle Busch deep in the field there, as is Dale Jr.
There's a lot of surprises on that page there. Pretty far back. Brian Vickers, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Even Ryan Newman's a great qualifier.
Carl Edwards going to a backup car, and we're hearing that Jamie McMurray may elect to go to a backup car after getting some damage during his qualifying run.
Yeah, he popped that wall pretty good off turn 4 there. Jamie McMurray did.
Again, 39 cars here. Here is the rest of the field. Let's join Matt.
Las Vegas, always a great place for Austin Dillon. A truck and Xfinity win here and a solid run in qualifying, top 5. What stood out to you most about the final round?
Moving up in 1 and 2 definitely helped me. I was running the bottom, kind of fighting the car through there, and it just was easier through the bumps when I moved up. And wish I would have done it a round before, because I could have maybe got a little bit more there. Just proud of my team. We had to fight back from the beginning. We made a big mistake that first run. The cow cover was on. I ran around there wide open. I was like, the motor ain't running. We found it when we came in. So good recovery. We know to make a bigger cow cover so we can see it next time. And good run for the Dow Chevy. Proud of these guys. Each week we keep making the 3rd round, and we're going to have a pole by the end of the year.
A great building block towards Saturday, moving on then to Sunday.
Now that's funny, because before qualifying started, Jamie showed us a cowl cover, and they put all of those, let's call them trinkets, on the cowl cover so the driver can see that it hasn't been removed. Either Austin needs to gain an inch, or maybe that cowl cover does.
He obviously doesn't look at the cowl cover.
As we wrap up qualifying coverage, here's a look back at Jamie McMurray getting up and into the wall, slap slam. Maybe it didn't look that bad to you, but it did to the team. And they have talked it over with NASCAR, and they will go to a backup car for Sunday's race, along with Carl Edwards, who had a pretty hard hit there. So, Jeff, what do you want to work on during practice tomorrow?
Well, I want to know what this new aero package does around other cars. I want to know what this Goodyear tire does on the longer runs. What kind of fall off am I going to have, as a driver, search around this racetrack? And then as a team, what do I have to do to keep the long run speed in the race car?
Darrell, we have a lot of rule changes this year. Back on the 2nd run on a 1.5 mile track, and yet a new track record.
Yeah, you know, last year we reduced power, and everybody said the cars will go slower. They went faster. We broke a track record. We come here with a lot less downforce on the car. Oh, that'll slow them down. They went faster. That's the challenge NASCAR has, trying to keep these guys under control. If they didn't keep making changes, reducing things, I don't know how fast we'd go around this joint. 200 miles an hour, I guess.
So why are we faster here than last year?
Well, Goodyear brought a different tire. It has a lot more grip, especially in the left side tire, but also on the outer edge of the right side tire. These teams, as DW said, over the offseason, they just find ways to find more aerodynamic advantages, especially underneath the car and the right side of the car, to just get a lot of that grip that was lost, get it back.
I heard that they lost 700 pounds of downforce when they made a rule change. Before they went to the race in Atlanta, they got most of it back.
Wow. Now, tomorrow we're going to show you differences in some of the tires Goodyear has been bringing to the racetracks. We're also going to see how many miles some of these truck drivers will travel during this West Coast swing. And it all begins with Sprint Cup practice at 11:30 Eastern Time. Xfinity Series qualifying to follow. Then Sprint Cup final practice at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR race day, and then the Xfinity Series race from Las Vegas, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. A lot of NASCAR for you on FS1 tomorrow. Congratulations to Kurt Busch, the hometown boy, and Stewart Haas Racing have won the pole for Sunday's Kobalt 400.